On her own for the first time in nearly 2 decades, what's next for Sarah Ferguson now Andrew is leaving Royal Lodge? Welcome back to Crown Chronicles, the home of royal revelations, untold truths, and behind-the-scenes drama straight from the palaces of Britain. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because here, we uncover the stories the tabloids only dare to whisper about. And today's story? It's one that's been quietly brewing behind the gilded gates of Windsor, a story of change, independence, and perhaps, heartbreak. Because after nearly 20 years of sharing her home with her ex-husband, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is finally finding herself alone at Royal Lodge. But what does this mean for Fergie? And what future awaits her now that Prince Andrew is being forced to leave the only home they've shared since their divorce? Buckle up, because this is a royal saga like no other. For almost 2 decades, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew lived under one roof at Royal Lodge, the sprawling, ivy-clad mansion nestled in Windsor Great Park. To the outside world, it was a strange setup, 2 divorced people living together, laughing together, even raising their dogs together. Yet to those who knew them best, it was perfectly Fergie and Andrew, unconventional, loyal, and just a bit defiant of royal expectations. They called themselves the happiest divorced couple in the world. And to some extent, it seemed true, but now, that fairy tale is unraveling. King Charles, tightening his grip on royal finances and image control, has made it clear, Andrew must leave Royal Lodge. The upkeep costs are enormous, reportedly over £400,000 a year, and with the Duke of York stripped of his public duties and income, the Crown is no longer willing to fund the comfort of a prince in disgrace. Sources close to the palace say the king has been patient for years, but the moment has come for Andrew to downsize, quite literally, to a smaller residence, possibly Frogmore Cottage, the former Windsor home of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and that leaves Sarah Ferguson in an unexpected position. For the first time since 2008, when she moved back into Royal Lodge after a period of financial trouble, Fergie faces the reality of being on her own again. No longer shielded by her former husband's title or protected by the walls of Windsor, she's being nudged toward independence, something she hasn't experienced in nearly 20 years. Friends of the Duchess describe her as stoic but deeply unsettled. Though she's maintained a strong public face, smiling at charity events, posting upbeat messages to her followers, insiders say she's quietly anxious about what comes next. Royal Lodge has been her sanctuary, her creative space, and her emotional anchor. It's where she wrote her children's books, filmed her YouTube stories, and where she found comfort after her battle with breast cancer last year. Leaving it behind will feel, in many ways, like losing a part of herself, yet in true Fergie fashion, she's determined to turn the page. Those close to her say she's exploring new opportunities, including potential media projects and public speaking engagements, to support herself financially. There are even whispers that she's considering a documentary or book that dives into her personal reinvention, offering the world an honest look at the woman behind the royal scandals, but not everyone is convinced the separation will be so clean. Despite their complicated relationship, Andrew and Sarah have always remained entwined, emotionally, financially, and even spiritually. They've shared birthdays, holidays, and family milestones with their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who both adore their parents' close bond. In interviews, both sisters have spoken about how their mum and dad have always been a unit, even if they weren't married. So, what happens now that unit is breaking apart? Rumors suggest the Duchess is reluctant to leave completely. Royal insiders hint that she might continue to spend time at Royal Lodge, even after Andrew's departure, depending on who takes over the property. Some say King Charles may offer her temporary accommodation at Windsor, while others believe she'll look for a smaller home nearby, perhaps in Ascot or Surrey, to remain close to her daughters and grandchildren. Still, it's impossible to ignore the emotional toll. For Sarah Ferguson, Royal Lodge wasn't just a home, it was a symbol of belonging. After years of being an outsider in royal circles, the lodge gave her stability, even if unofficially. Now, with Andrew's royal privileges all but evaporated, that security is crumbling too. Observers note that this move could mark the true end of one of the strangest love stories in royal history. Fergie and Andrew's post-divorce partnership was often mocked but quietly admired. Despite the scandals, from Toegate to Andrew's disastrous BBC interview, Sarah stood by him. She defended him publicly, called him a very good man, and insisted their love was unconditional. Even when the rest of the royal family distanced themselves, she remained fiercely loyal, but loyalty doesn't pay the bills, and sentiment doesn't sway the king. Charles is known for his disciplined approach to royal finances and image control. He's determined to slim down the monarchy, and that means even his own brother isn't immune. In Charles's eyes, the era of indulgent royal freeloading is over. For Fergie, though, this may be the beginning of something new, and perhaps, something better. In recent years, she's found renewed purpose outside of the royal machine. Her work as a children's author, her charity efforts, and her candid conversations about mental health and resilience have earned her quiet respect. She's transformed from tabloid punchline to inspirational survivor. And with Andrew out of the picture, at least domestically, she finally has a chance to define herself on her own terms. There's also talk that this new chapter could see her spending more time abroad. Some close friends say she's eyeing America, where her outspoken nature and sense of humor might find a warmer audience. The US media has long been fascinated by her, and with the Sussexes now out of royal favor, Fergie could easily step into that space as the friendly royal ex-wife with insider stories and no allegiance to the firm's silence code. But no matter where she goes, one thing is certain: Sarah Ferguson is no stranger to reinvention. She's survived royal exile, public humiliation, and financial collapse, yet she's always found a way to rise again. This latest shakeup may be painful, but it might also be the spark that reignites her independent spirit, as the movers prepare to pack up Royal Lodge, and Andrew faces a new reality far from Windsor's manicured lawns. The Duchess of York stands at a crossroads. Will she cling to the past, or embrace a future on her own? Only time will tell. But if history is any guide, Fergie won't fade quietly into the background. She's always been a survivor, and this time, she might just prove that even without a prince, a duchess can still rule her own story. So, what do you think? Is this truly the end of the happiest divorced couple in the world? Or just another twist in their endlessly fascinating royal saga? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Crown Chronicles for more breaking royal insights, exclusive updates, and deep dives into the lives behind the palace walls. Because in the world of the royals, the story never really ends, it only gets more intriguing.